Welcome back to the NVDM Coaching channel. Today we're going to explore two main reasons which will make you a better swimmer: body position and propulsion. Let's dive in. So let's talk about body position and hydrodynamics, how your body interacts with the water. The key thing you need to do as a swimmer is you need to reduce drag and resistance as your body moves through the water. Let's talk about how you can do that. A streamlined body position. Maintaining that position is critical for you to swim fast. One of the most important things for you to swim faster is that your body needs to be on the surface of the water. So what are the key elements that make you swim on the surface versus having you sink, which creates drag and resistance, is your head position. Make sure you have a neutral head position, that you're looking straight down in the water, and especially when you're breathing, do not lift it up and turn it around. Anytime you do that, most likely your hips and your legs are going to sink behind you. In order to have good hydrodynamics through the water, you want to stay in a streamlined position. So what does this mean? When you're swimming, you want to make sure that nothing is going outside the body line. When you're entering and reaching your arm in the water, make sure it's staying in line with the shoulder and never outside of the shoulder line. Also make sure that there's no gap between your ear and your shoulder. The more you lift up your head and turn to breathe, the bigger the frontal area of water that's now creating resistance and slowing you down. So make sure that ideally you want your ear connected to your shoulder when you're turning to breathe to keep you in a really nice streamlined position. Your kick plays a really important role in your body's hydrodynamics and your position in the water. For most, you need to kick enough to be able to keep your hips and your feet on the surface so that you're not creating any drag and resistance due to sinking. The other reason your kick is very important is because most have a really big scissor kick to where your legs are now outside the streamline of the body. So what we tell our athletes to do is pretend your legs are in a small tube behind the body. They're hiding behind the body. And a cue we give athletes in order to do so is we say, when you kick, keep your big toes touching. Slightly invert your feet, toes are touching, and kick up and down so that your legs don't separate and create more drag when you're swimming. So another way you can swim faster is your focus on propulsion. This means that you're going to powerfully push water back behind you so your body can in turn move forwards. I'm going to have Coach Harold explain that to you.
All right, hello everybody, Coach Harold here. Wanted to take a moment to talk to you all about our swim stroke and specifically fluid dynamics and how we propel ourselves through the water, okay? When we're talking about propulsion in the water in our swim stroke, we want to be efficient. Efficiency comes from how hard we're working versus the amount of distance that we get per stroke or how easily we move through the water. Obviously, we want to work less and move further through the water with each of our stroke cycles. So we want to talk about a little bit of efficiency in the water, propulsion through the movement. We're thinking about three things here, and Natasha already touched on one of these, and I want to reiterate a little bit of what she said about frontal area. The frontal area is the amount of space that you take up as you're swimming straight through the water. And we want to think about swimming through a pipe or through a tube, and we want that pipe to be a little bit wider than wide enough to allow our shoulders to go through. And if we can swim in that area, then we're going to minimize our frontal area, one component of the efficiency factor that I just talked about. And so when we're doing that, we need to stay inside that tube. That's one thing. The second thing that I'm thinking about whenever we're thinking about that efficiency factor is drag, or how much drag our body creates in the water. And when we think about that, we want to talk about the vector of the plane that your body is swimming on and the direction that you're traveling. So if I'm horizontal in the water, I want the plane that I'm moving on to be also horizontal. If my body is not in that same horizontal plane, then I'm creating drag. So we want to eliminate that. So we want to get your body position on the same plane that you are traveling through in the water. That'll help with your efficiency of propulsion. Then the third thing is going to be just rhythm, right? The rhythm of your stroke with your kick, the rhythm of your stroke with breathing. Now there's lots of different ways to approach this. Some people will like a faster breathing pattern. Some people will like a higher cadence or lower cadence in their swim stroke versus their kick. All of those things can work within an umbrella of rhythm that works for you. So if you are a little bit of a loping swimmer and you slow down your swim stroke and your kick and your breathing, that's perfectly fine as long as it's all in rhythm. And then if you're a slightly higher cadence swimmer, you like a faster stroke cycle, that's fine as well, as long as it's also in rhythm with your breathing and your kicking. So those three things combined will increase your efficiency in the water, create more propulsive forces so that you can travel further distance for less effort. We want a small frontal area. We want to be on the same plane that we're traveling through the water. We want our body to be on that plane, create the least amount of drag, and then we want to find that rhythm with our stroke, our kick, and our breathing.